Hello, this is Gerald Turvans. Is it possible to have an intuitive feeling or sensation or imagination how the forms that are associated in each of these words are combined into a word, and that should also present this new thing. The B we know already a little bit, the R we know already a little bit, the D we already know a little bit. So how should we combine them? You have letters that really are pointing into a specific placement, other ones that go to a certain direction, and otherwise are more about adaptive movements with some reaction and so on. And bird is a combination of these, and I had already some words with brr, and this brr, if you really had also a vocal in between the B and the R, it more or less had this brr vibration at the outside, a surface at the outside, but also something that also goes from within, a breaching out form that almost multiplies itself a little bit in some variations. And that was the brr. So how should it be a bird fit into this? Of course we have the E, which is in between the beginning and the ending, somewhere that something can be put in. We also have the R. The R, basically it is a connecting point of interactions and connection points from the point of view that we have something from a general background nature that connects itself, interconnects itself to the thing that we have as a word. So we connect to the word into this focus of 1, 2, 3 into the 2 and 3 rhythm. So we have a kind of rhythm that we have that goes inwardly. That's a bit vague description, but I have these descriptions better somewhere else. But it is basically that kind of spiraling in until you find a rhythm that connects the bigger perspective within a local perspective, so that you have an interaction, a rhythm, and so on. So these forms are always associated with the R if you have them separately. The D is it's at the end of that word, so it is that movement that says, okay, I can have a movement, I can have a change from here onwards. I can make something, I can make it a change, I can make a change happen. So from one place to another, I will go to another place, I go to another change from here onwards. I can make the change. Now what kind of change is underneath? You have already some vague ideas. Okay, I have a body, I have some wings, I have a movement, and I have also where I can put the head in as well at some point. So there's a point where I can have an access point actually to the full body and the interaction. There is an interaction. These interactions we know already, we can sense already. It looks a bit like wings. It can be a little bit like wings. So how does this work, and how does the work? There's such a strange sound, which I'm not going to overanalyze in this case, but there will be a sound inside. Mostly is like it's becoming physical gradually, and that should be visible there as well. But let's combine all these. So we had, of course, a beginning, an ending, and an insertion. We had an interconnection point. The B and the R was always had that kind of contradiction, because B is really the body, R is the connecting to something that is really further away and outside the body, and it is a bit difficult to make that connection. Of course, we know with wings we could make that connection, but how does it jump from one thing to another will be difficult. But what we will do first already is this R. I will have that separately, which will, because it already immediately reminds me of that bird. If you have a bird and you design it as simple as possible, you almost come to this almost V design, but it's actually also like a R as well. In some languages, the bird also starts with the V for obvious associations. that will make the image immediately available, that we know what we're talking about. But here it's about bird, so we have the body here, which will be separated in different parts, also with the insertion there, and the growing part of it, of that body. So it's growing. So it is that it's a bit more than this very steady body. It's going from one connection to another connection. You can have that in different ways, but it's the design of that vibration, a little bit of that vibration of that continues in the body from one part to the other. It's like the body of the bird is also packed with feathers, so it is this bit loosely hanging together arrangement of from one place to another. Can be associated from there also in the wings as well. I have these arrangements that go from breaching, but also with going vaguely from one form to the outer form a little bit. It's more intuitively that I do that here, but I just taking out the elements of the sounds, and these elements of the sounds, here I go in again with the brr, brr. Brr is also in these two parts, and I have in the end I can design a bird with it vaguely if I want to, and I will finally get to forms that fit to the letters and also fit to the content. The only thing which still matters and which is not very easily expressed here is that the B and the R are very far away from each other. The R is really almost like in the sky, very far away, and it should connect with the so the gradual going to that. With a D, I will make a jump to that different, to that different condition, to that different place, to that different timing, to that different adaptation. It will have to make an adaptation so that it can jump to the R in the end. So I have a B, which is the form in the beginning, and the R in the end, which I will have to have an interconnection to it, so that I can make the bird jump from one condition, the physical one, the B, to the connecting point of R. So you have the B, which is physical, physicality with a bit like this, with a brr like that, and with the R separated with its result, so with the D with some delay in time. So in these phases, they are a bit far away from each other. You have this physical starting point down to Earth with the B, and then these delays with until you have the connecting. It should actually be connecting in several stages until you have that transition really of that ability really where you can go to. That's basically what is underneath, but that's quite intuitively. So what I would like to do, I will restart now, but I will go and make a little bit more of a real analysis. So because the connection points between B and R are having a delay, actually, even though it tries to find a place where it connects, and it has that delay with the D as well. How can we do that? How can we interpret that more methodically? And that's what I will do in the second part. So basically, I will redo everything, so you will refocus upon every element. You had the B, which is in that part underneath. You had the R, which is in two parts, so 2, 3, and so that you can find the rhythm. I base myself upon the same image of B as the physical image. So I will have from B to R, I will have to make a connection, and the connection will be made with actually the sound and the written letter E. So E is that new function, new application that you can find each time, which now will be stretched in stages because of the sound which is associated like that. We in some languages they describe it as plus u, so with a timing involved, and that you can find, okay, where are the differences that you can time, really, that you can count on, and the u is that incomplete picture which is gradually becoming a whole, and at the end, but in stages. So it's really developing in stages. So how can we associate that will be in this second part explained a little bit better. R alone can be derived to these places, but it has to have a connection. So a connection on its own, just as R, is this rhythm. So that is that rhythm. So on its own, so without the B, but still from that place, this is the R. So that's how you have to associate the R. It's making connection. It's just making connection theoretically, generally in the background there on top. But it starts from B to R, and so where does it actually connect to, actually? And then with a delay as well. The connection itself to the B, just take a figure here because it's quite funny. You always can associate it with a figure when we associate it with people. You have that starting point, so where I start, and you have the other, and the B is where I actually, that kind of meeting point at the other. This is a small association that you can remember. It's also there at a certain borders. You can have the B there somewhat still in the middle, just besides a side effect that can be associated from there. But we have the B from R. So the B itself is actually a focus in a point where the physicality becomes to dominate, a point that is a breaching point that's going to breach towards the borders, and that's that point what you have. Should be combined with that rhythm in 2/3. So that is not an easy task, but the access point is easy. So if we simply would connect this action point, or actually it's still a passive view onto a physicality. We have that active point of connection. Simply to make that connection, you have this kind of beak form, let's say, that's the B. But that's not expressing that rhythm from B expansion to R, so that will be a bit more difficult to associate it. There should also be a rhythm that you say, here's the local vision, and we have to project the local vision to something bigger. So, and the E is not just one point, it is also having the awareness of the sound, so you have to have the delay before you can have to find that point. So you have the B is in the physical realm, the 2/3 is into the general realm, quite far away, so you can't connect them simply like that and expect it that it will express the word. So we have to have that delay to connect via sound as E before we can find it. E itself is that range between a range of a zone between 0 and infinity, so it has also not a really clear start like all the last 9 letters or 9 positions. They don't have a clear start, so it is like an open beginning, an open ending, but it has a very concrete result. The concrete result is the question mark there. Depends on how the formula finds itself. The formula of the solution will find itself somewhere in between 0 and infinity in the right time and place. It when it's ready, when the definition is defined, you can find that place. So that's the E on its own. That's E. The if you can also associate it with the form, the sound is almost like that, like you have it in the oral sense when we use, you hear it already, we're making a delay so that we can, before we make a connection, we make some delay. And that's what it's going to do. So you have that physical vibration underneath. You have that delay in time on a bit further away. And on top, before we make the connection to R, it will be such a delay that we wait for the right moment that we can see, here is the point of connection, and there, only there, we will make that connection. Underneath, when it's growing, when the B is growing and that delay of stages is already present in that physicality, it's also kind of delay in forming or appearing of that reality. So that means that the borders are a bit are fitting better with that with these fluffy borders. So it's a quite small range. So before you say, okay, here is the border, it is a small range. It also fits a little bit with how you define the form of the structure of from where the form of the bird can be drawn into, like the plumes, you have that as well, is with a certain range of surface. Actually, the bee is also pushing to the surface, but here it will get, this push has a little bit of variations and so on, gray zone, let's say, at that point. At the second level, for when it would connect itself to the timings, it's of course that you have that in stages, also in timing, that you can have the same form slowly developing somewhere else. And the last one is, of course, we found already that connection point with delay. It's that delay in connection point before it makes the connection, let's say, to this infinity, towards an open, let's go. And this is the form of R towards that openness. And this D sound at the end emphasizes is that the last R or connection point has to go away. It has a delay as well, because otherwise you could also have the burr like this or like this, if you have just simply the connection, but it has this delay at the end as well. So the connection point of R will also from B to R will also have a certain delay. So and it will then move elsewhere. The D will move and make the connection to elsewhere. So together you have this physical delay to start with in the formation, in as well to make the connection via R. You have a time delay, so where you can also have these forms which can stretch itself a little bit further as well, if you like. That still would fit as well. The connection points are a bit later. And then finally, the connecting delay will be delayed all upon the end until you have the connection to open it up further between 0 and infinity and find your way and rhythm. Because there is also, thanks to the R, there will be found a rhythm in the end to connect itself between 0 and infinity to within a general sense of applications that you can find in time and space. So this D is that what also makes this connection from the bird that starts as a physical presence towards the idea of, yes, you also have the free bird here that finds in stages, finds its way out of this physicality towards a more freedom into a bigger connection, makes its connection to the sky, to far away. It's that far away sense, of course, as well, that is there. And that's all association can have. So from first picking down to here, and now to a kind of delay towards wherever that could lead as well. All these associations are based upon associations that are formed of in letters and also in combining letters. And this was a good example to have also a combination of two letters that do not fit so well and so easily together. The B and the R so well, so distant from each other. How can it find the stages, find its connection point in stages with in connecting point in E, and that will find the bird with its whole behaviorism, forms and so on, that can be associated quite easily. Once you know what to associate, how to associate, of course this whole video is quite long for it to be associated which can be associated much more directly, much more quickly. In general, if you understand a combination of letters and grasp a combination of letters, the brain itself will do that within the 1, 2, 3 seconds, almost like, yeah, and then you have it. If we would follow that, you take these 1, 2, 3 combinations, with some delay, can be found and experienced in its all variations once you understand and grasp these individual elements combined with the combined individual features as well. No, it's not, maybe not the easiest word, but it is a very good exercise of difficult to combine letters. And another example of the brr word that has opened up with some vocals, and that gives it, yeah, a certain approach that in this case with some delay from that first to the second form underneath. Okay, thanks again for watching. Bye.